officers, the regents, the trustees, the academic trustees, the rectors, and the laureates of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois. Please stand for our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say, does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
Thank you so much. You may be seated. And please join me in welcoming the Vice Chancellor of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois, Todd Shapiro.
We'd like to start with an invocation by, I didn't think I was going to be introducing him, Bob Muzikowski. So Bob, could you step up?
Hi, my name is Bob. I'm an alcoholic. Oh, sorry, wrong group. Wrong group. Well, we didn't get sober to be miserable. You get 30 years, you can joke about it. I'm the founder of Chicago Open Academy, unique school on the west side, unapologetic Christian school. So we fund ourselves. We've become the largest nonprofit receiver of foreclosed homes in Chicago. So we just flipped our 500th house, and that's how we pay the teachers. So anyway, a couple verses for today from the book of James. And I want to view this in light of so many of our friends saying, I'm leaving Chicago because of the crime, or I'm leaving Illinois. It's like, so they're going to abandon the ship, right? So in the book of James, it says, James 1:22, do not merely listen to the word and so deceive yourselves, do what it says. And this group up here does what it says, and that's why they are awardees today. Matthew 6, do not store up your treasures on earth, where moth and rust corrupt and thieves break in and steal. Store up your treasures in heaven, for where your treasures are, there will your heart be also. Let's just say the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
Thank you, Bob. I've never heard an invocation done that way. And if any of you have, I want to hear about it. Good evening. My name is Todd Shapiro. I'm the Vice Chancellor of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois. I'm not the Chancellor who usually does this. Our Chancellor, the Honorable Ron Spears, couldn't be with us. So, as they say, if you were in the theater today, standing in and playing the role of Chancellor today will be me. Account temp sent me. That's it. So, if you really want to see Ron, I'm sorry. Tonight, we are gathered. I actually want to start off by welcoming all of you here. I especially want to welcome the Honorable Governor J.B. Pritzker. Our amazing laureates who you will hear from, who have received the Order of Lincoln, and especially all the members of the Academy that are behind me today. Tonight we are gathered to recognize some amazing individuals. The 2024 Lincoln Academy of Illinois laureates who will be receiving the Order of Lincoln: Evelyn Brandt Thomas, Lewis Collins, the Honorable Rita B. Garman, Allison Krause, Lester H. McKeever Jr., Raul Raimondo. I told you, Ray, I'd screw it up. And Jim Tomey. By the way, did anybody see Jim after the national anthem? You didn't see it, right? He jumped in and yelled, "Play ball." For those who don't know, in your program it talks a little bit about the Lincoln Academy. The Lincoln Academy was formed in 1964 by Governor Otto Kerner. Actually, I had the luck of my uncle serving as Lieutenant Governor Otto Kerner, so I truly feel connected to this group. It was formed to honor individuals whose outstanding contributions to the betterment of mankind have been accomplished in or on behalf of the state of Illinois, or whose achievements have brought honor to the state. In 1975, our mission was expanded to recognize some amazing students in our state. Each year, we recognize one student from each of the 4-year degree-granting colleges and universities in Illinois, and one student representing our state's community colleges. They're honored as student laureates and receive the Abraham Lincoln Civic Engagement Award in recognition as a student laureate. Tonight, you'll hear me say later, during dessert, we'll get to hear from Daniel McLaurin, one of our 2023 student laureates, and they are an impressive group. This year's convocation is special, not because Ron couldn't be here and I am. This year's convocation is special because it's our 60th anniversary. For those who are not good in math, 1964, 2024, it's our 60th anniversary. It's our diamond anniversary. So it's really special to us, and we're very excited that you are here to join us for that celebration. So enough of that. Without further ado, let's get on with recognizing the 24 recipients of the Order of Lincoln. For each laureate, just so you know, we'll have a presenter, followed by some brief remarks from the laureate. So please hold your applause until all the speeches are done. Claire Manning will be presenting. Claire, you're up first. Claire Manning will be presenting Evelyn Brandt Thomas.
Good evening. Evelyn Brandt Thomas is a powerful force, an outstanding role model, who for nearly 100 years has been deeply passionate about her community. Never forgetting her humble beings, she, together with her brother, built an international business which remains anchored in central Illinois, but which provides innovative agricultural programs throughout the globe. Evelyn counts among her bucket list items and ways she can provide for others. Her philanthropic associations throughout this state span a full typed page, so we can't speak to each one here, but know that she has touched each and every one of us in a special way. From educational and medical institutions, and here I would include the University of Illinois in virtually all of its capacities and all of its locations, as evidenced, I think, by many of the chancellors that are here tonight. In terms of medical institutions, in honor of her husband of 50 years, she provided a garden at SIU School of Medicine in Springfield, Illinois. Her awards and honors are equally vast. Her leadership positions are also too numerous to mention. Among them is serving on the boards of the Illinois State Museum Founders Society, the Memorial Medical Foundation Board, and the Community Foundation for the Land of Lincoln. The awards and recognitions fittingly follow her incredible depth of involvement. She was named one of the top 500 business women owners by Working Women and one of the most prominent women in agriculture by Solutions magazine. Additionally, Evelyn is known to like to support things that are fun and energetic, and in that vein, she supports a NASCAR driver, Justin Aguilar, who every time he wins on national TV thanks Miss Evelyn Brandt. Known for doing good because it needs to be done and not because she expects anything, Evelyn uses her boundless energy and resources to mentor fellow businesswomen and youth and focus on needed healthcare and educational initiatives. For 70 years, she has led her family business and remains active, having recently traveled to Brazil to open and inaugurate the company's largest production facility to date. She is currently planning her 101st birthday celebration. And as she told me backstage, I'm not done yet, Claire. To receive the Order of Lincoln, I honorably present Evelyn Brandt Thomas.
You ready for this? Can you hear me? I'm not sure who she was talking about, but since she gave me this mic, I guess it was me. So, anyway, you heard a little bit about that, how old I am. Well, now people ask me, why do you still go to the office? Well, it's my therapy. It's a reason for to get up in bed, out of bed, and do something and be around young people. And some things I tell people, you need to keep the body busy, the brain busy, and a little bit of vodka tonic doesn't hurt either. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have the funds and the energy to support all the charities, education, health, the underprivileged, and all the nonprofit and the profit and whatever, they can find me. They know where to find me, and they do find me. But in 1953, Glenn Brandt, that's my brother, lost him 4 years ago, and I started Brandt's Fertilizer. At that time, we were pioneers in the liquid fertilizer in the central area. Glenn did the selling, most of it in bars, and I was the one that did the billing, and many times they accused me that dust hadn't even settled on their field yet, and they had their bill. And then I was in charge of the finances, and I had they said I was pretty tight back then. They said I really held on to a bit. Well, thank goodness I did, because things were tough. We had our peaks, we had our valleys, and in the valleys we tightened our belt. But anyway, Glenn and I held that company together for several years there, and so today, wow, we had 80 countries. We have 250 employees in Illinois. We have 800 employees around the world. We're now raising 300 bushel corn per acre, and we're still making new products that will improve profits and also the nutrition of the crop. And I want to also tell you, as of now, there's a construction getting done on our research farm in Pleasant Plains, and it's going to be known as the Evelyn Brant Thomas Ag Innovation Center. For training and education, and it will be, I think there's going to be a party there. On August the 21st, I will be 101. Thank you, thank you.
Good evening. Boy, that is a hard act to follow, Lou Collins. Lou Collins' significant and far-reaching accomplishments continue to shape the contours and direction of higher education in Illinois and far beyond, bringing his unique vision and voice to ensuring academic success, innovation, and interdisciplinary education for all students. As president of the Illinois Institute for Technology for 17 years, Collins' integrity, grit, tireless commitment to exceptional quality, and transformative leadership created what has been called IIT's Renaissance, translating not only the campus, its buildings, architectural treasures, and financial resources, but providing invaluable insights into redefining success for institutions across the nation, striving to achieve not only the highest academic standards, but also his commitments to enriching and enhancing society for the greater good. An uncommon civic leader and businessman, Lou created a unique path, starting with the co-founding and chairmanship of a bar review company, Bar Bree Educational Publishing, for law school students in the formative years of their legal education, and creating exemplary educational opportunities for students with limited access to resources. His bold actions and uncompromising focus on equity created lifelong opportunities for students that would simply not have been possible. Today, Lou's active engagement as a board member in several private foundations and not-for-profit organizations continue to benefit students, higher education, and the corporate community in Chicago and far beyond. To receive the Order of Lincoln from Chicago, Illinois, Lewis Collins.
Evelyn, where can I get that tonic? My mother was a fan of Tommy Dorsey, one of the great trombonists and band leaders of the World War II era. I think she particularly liked to watch him move that slide and listen to those golden notes as they came out of the trombone. Somehow I think she fantasized that I could become Tommy Dorsey. And so one day she bought me a trombone and said, why don't you enroll in the band class at high school? So I did. After the class got rolling, the teacher formed us into a band. Now, there were 2 of us in the band that had trombones. The other student was assigned first chair trombone. I was assigned third chair trombone. Not long after, we were getting ready to play a number, and before we started, Mr. Oakley comes over to me and says, son, I'll tell you what, for this number, just move the slide, don't blow. After class, Mr. Oakley came over to me and said, you know, if you want to be any good at this, you're going to have to work much harder. You're going to have to practice many hours. Mr. Oakley taught all of his students that you had to work hard to excel. Now, I got the message, although I directed my efforts elsewhere. I would not be on this platform tonight had I gone down the trombone path. I am on this platform tonight because over the years, I've had the privilege of working with the Mr. Oakleys of Illinois Institute of Technology, the faculty. A faculty dedicated to inspiring students to excel, a faculty dedicated to advancing knowledge through research and scholarship, a faculty whose exceptional work in enhancing lifetime opportunity for students was recently recognized by the Wall Street Journal. I'm on this platform tonight because of my late wife, Marge, who through 52 years of marriage made me the person I am today. I am on this platform because Bob Pritzker and Bob Galvin, 2 of the great industrial leaders of their time, had faith in me to be the leader of the university in a particularly challenging moment in its history. And I'm delighted that Myri and Jennifer Pritzker are with us tonight. I am on this platform because those 2 men devoted so much of their time and energy as leaders of our Board of Trustees. They followed in the footsteps of Philip Danforth Armour, recognized by this Academy as one of the great historical figures of Illinois, for his industrial prowess and his founding of Armour Tech, the predecessor of Illinois Institute of Technology. A university, by its very nature, is an optimistic place. It's focused on developing the next generation of citizens and leaders, of advancing our understanding of science, technology, and the human condition. In the United States, the modern university developed rapidly after the Civil War and was propelled in no small part by Abraham Lincoln's action in the midst of the Civil War to create land-grant universities and the National Academy of Sciences. Lincoln said, "I view education as the most important subject which we as a people can be engaged in." That view was shared by Henry Townley Heald, who prior to becoming president of the Ford Foundation, was the leader who created Illinois Institute of Technology by merging Armour Tech with the Lewis Institute. At the end of World War II, Heald brought Mies van der Rohe to the university to lead the College of Architecture and build the modern landmark campus. Mies was one of the first people recognized by this academy for his contributions to architecture and education. And that belief in education drives Raj Eshambati, the current dynamic president of Illinois Tech, who is on stage here this evening. And it drives Governor Pritzker, who has provided national leadership in early childhood education. I'm grateful I'm joined here tonight by so many members of my family, including my son and daughter-in-law, my brother and his family, my love Nancy and her family, as well as many friends, including Stephanie Marshall. And I'm pleased to join in the recognition of the impressive people on this stage. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. The ancients, long ago, put the symbols of equality and fairness in the hands of Lady Justice. And Illinois' longest-serving female jurist, Rita B. Garman, propelled that tradition forward, forging the way for women in the modern era. She stands as a pillar of our legal system. In her own words, Justice Garman said, "Courts are where the people meet the promise of this nation." In her most 50 years on the bench, she tirelessly devoted herself to the citizens of Illinois, bringing the highest levels of professionalism as she focused on prompt decisions, increasing the use of technology in the courts, and advocating for judicial education. As one of the only handful of women in her law school graduating class, she made history many times over, serving at every level of the Illinois courts. And following in the footsteps of another influential Illinois lawyer, the one for whom this award is named, her leadership as Chief Justice of the Illinois Supreme Court and her hundreds and hundreds of decisions are a testament to her dedication to others and the people of Illinois. To receive the Order of Lincoln, the Honorable Rita B. Garman.
Good evening. I am greatly honored to receive this prestigious award from the Lincoln Academy of Illinois. I spent my entire adult life in Danville, which is in Vermilion County in central Illinois. It's a place where Abraham Lincoln practiced the law and where he rode the circuit, trying cases. So this award has special meaning for me. I must admit that when I learned that I would receive this award, I thought of my experience in the second grade. At Halloween time, we had a parade, and we all dressed up. And there was a prize given to one of the children. And I thought I looked pretty good, because I was dressed as a little old lady. I even had a little flat hat and lace gloves and everything. And before I went, my mother said to me, "You know, all the little children want to win the prize, so don't be disappointed." Well, when I went to the assembly and they announced all the winners, they said the first prize went to the little old lady. So the little old lady is very happy tonight. Growing up in Oswego, my parents believed that their two daughters could achieve anything their son could. That was not always a common mindset in the mid-20th century. Their unconditional love and support of my older brother and sister gave me the courage to follow my dreams. I am forever grateful. I was 16 when I decided I wanted to become a lawyer. It did not matter to me that there were few, if any, women in the practice at that time. I was not trying to blaze a new trail. I simply set my sights on what I wanted to do, and then I moved forward with focus and determination to do the best job I could. To face any challenge in front of me at any given time was my goal. I enrolled at the University of Illinois and studied commerce and law. Where in a labor economics class, my life was changed. I met my late husband, Gil. Together, we graduated from the University of Illinois and then enrolled in law school at the University of Iowa. When I started law school in 1965, there were 8 women in our first-year class. There were more than 8 men, about 20 times more men. And how times have immeasurably changed. Today, law school enrollments show probably an even balance with gender. I was told by more than one professor that I was only there to catch a husband, that I should give up my seat to a more deserving candidate, a man, of course, who would support a family. Thankfully, the support of my family and my husband helped me to stay focused. We graduated from the University of Iowa in 1968 and moved to Danville. And guess what? I couldn't get a job. No one wanted to hire me because I was told no one wants to talk to a woman lawyer. I was asked how fast I could type and could I make a cup of coffee. My resume had my height and weight on it. I was finally hired by luck by the Vermilion County Legal Aid Society. Working with those cases informed my perspective for the rest of my career. I then spent time as an assistant state's attorney and then was briefly in private practice. The idea of a woman lawyer was unusual at the time. Having a woman judge was downright unthinkable. When I became a judge in 1974, there were no women on the United States Supreme Court, no women on the Illinois Supreme Court, or any of the Illinois appellate courts. In fact, there were only 8 women statewide in Illinois at the trial level, and I got to be one of them. My judicial career gave me many wonderful opportunities, and I pursued those opportunities to the best of my ability. And as Justice Burke has told you, I was honored to serve at every level of the state's judiciary, culminating in more than 21 years on the Illinois Supreme Court. I believe, though, that no one achieves professional success alone. I was guided by my loving parents, Dr. Sheldon and Ellen Bell. My brother Sheldon and my sister Lynn and their families were always very supportive. My husband Gil was my rock and my greatest supporter from the day we met until he passed a decade ago. I am so thrilled for the blessing of our 2 amazing children, Sarah and Andy, and they're here tonight. They're always willing to share their mom with the demands of her career. They both have great spouses, and I am blessed with 5 amazing grandchildren. I could bore you with a lot of talk about my grandchildren. But I would not be standing here tonight without judicial mentors, like the late James Robinson and the late Justice Ben Miller. Those gentlemen believed that a woman could serve in a judicial position and promoted my promotion. And I had many dear friends who encouraged me on the path and stuck with me. And I'm grateful to the people of the 4th District of Illinois, those 30 counties across the center of Illinois that elected me to serve on the appellate court and then as a member of the Supreme Court. I stand here tonight truly humbled by my fellow honorees, leaders in agriculture, finance, and education, philanthropists, a 27-time Grammy Award winner, a Major League Baseball Hall of Famer, exceptional people who have made such an important impact across our state and around the world. Henry David Thoreau once famously wrote, "Go confidently in the direction of your dreams. Live the life you have imagined." I'm proud to have achieved my dream and more. But with all due respect to Thoreau, I can promise you that 16-year-old girl at Oswego High School could not have imagined a life and an honor like this. Thank you so much.
Alison Krauss is an accomplished vocalist and fiddle player. And by the age of 14, she had her recording contract with Rounder Records. Her 12 million records sold include certified platinum and double platinum albums. She counts among her industry honors 27 Grammys with 42 nominations, earning her the second most awarded female musician after Beyonce. She's working on that. 14 International Bluegrass Music Awards, 2 Dove Awards, 9 Country Music Awards, and the National Medal of Arts, awarded by the President of the United States. A member of the Grand Ole Opry, Alison collaborates with artists across a wide range of genres and has performed for 5 U.S. presidents. You are sure to know Alison's music from not only her 15 celebrated albums, but her contributions to film and television, which top 165 appearances, including 2 Oscar-nominated performances. She's also the voice of several cartoon movie characters. And this summer, she'll be touring again with Led Zeppelin's Robert Plant. To receive the Order of Lincoln, it is my pleasure to introduce Alison Krauss.
This is a bit terrifying. I haven't said anything intelligent for years. I want to thank the people of Illinois for this incredible honor. And I want to say I was glad I could get halfway in just by being from here, because otherwise I don't know if this would have happened. I grew up in Champaign, where my parents surrounded both my brother and I with a rich musical heritage of the state. We grew up without musical bias, being exposed to the arts and almost every musical genre from a very early age, from the folk songs of the prairies to the blues of Chicago, from Dixieland bands to the symphony. To be recognized by my home state in this way is very humbling. I want to thank the governor and the Lincoln Academy for this recognition. This award also represents the belief, hard work, and dedication of everyone who has supported the idea of the music I've had the privilege to participate in along the way. My family, my bandmates, songwriters, engineers, and those who still support and want to listen. I'm grateful for the teachers and musicians from Illinois who took the time to share what they were doing and working on and thought I might have something to offer. Along with my parents, they showed me what it looks like to work at something tirelessly in the hopes of a possibility of making or being a part of something excellent. I want to thank Lois Gullerud, Leo Pondelik, Carolyn Hertz, Carolyn Paulin, Marvin Lee Flessner, Nelson Mandrell, and John Pinnell. And as a Laurel, I am proud to join the ranks of such esteemed individuals who've made significant contributions to the arts, education, and public service. And I'm shocked to be in a room with a judge for a very nice reason, because most times you don't, anyway. And to my fellow Illinoisans, I've lived in another part of the country now for a while, and I'm proud to be from this great state. When people from other parts of the country say, well, you know, she's from Illinois, it's a kind of warning. And I use it, and I say, well, you have nothing to worry about. They're from the Midwest. My mother says the reward for hard work is hard work. When she said it, I didn't understand it, but I believed it. And in return, I've truly enjoyed having the opportunity to work hard at becoming a part of Illinois' incredible musical traditions. Thank you very much.
Lester H. McKeever, Jr. His lifelong service to Illinois and to this nation encompasses myriad business, civic, governmental, and community accomplishments. Faced with challenging hiring obstacles after becoming only the 60th Black certified public accountant in the United States, he became a trailblazer, breaking down racial barriers and forging a new path for others to follow. With doors closed to him due to his race, Lester was undeterred. He created his own opportunities. His strong business acumen led him to be a managing principal of the accounting firm bearing his name. And to this day, he continues as a practicing accountant and attorney. He made history upon being appointed as chairman of the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago, and he has dedicated many decades of service to his alma mater as treasurer of the University of Illinois Board of Trustees. Today, not only does the Illinois CPA Society have an award in Lester's honor, but an honorary street in Chicago bears his name. As a business leader, public servant, veteran, corporate and civic board member, and benefactor, Lester has achieved great heights and is committed to helping others reach their potential. However, beyond Lester's numerous achievements, his rise to the top is all the more remarkable because of the times and the circumstances in which he obtained success. Stop for a moment and think what it must have been like to be a Black person born in America in 1934. To say that Jim Crow was alive and well would be an understatement. I was in Atlanta recently where I visited the Civil Rights Museum. I viewed the films of peaceful Black demonstrators being beaten and clubbed by police, fired upon with water cannon, attacked by fierce German Shepherd canines, and suffering indignities at lunch counter sit-ins. While most of those brutal events occurred in the South, there was a different type of racism occurring here in the North, a more pernicious brand of racism, which simply shut tight the door to opportunity. Lester grew up in a segregated America, a separate and unequal America. Yet Lester was able to thrive. To borrow from Hamilton, the musical, Lester was able to rise up, and overcome the obstacles that society thrust in his path. He began his trek even before the 1954 landmark Supreme Court decision in Brown versus Board of Education striking down racial segregation in public schools, before the Civil Rights Act of 1964 outlawing racial discrimination, before the dawn of fair housing laws, and before so much more progress towards fairness was achieved. Yes, and we cannot celebrate Lester without recognizing his wife of 66 years, Nancy. Lester and Nancy were married in 1958. Yes, they are a real Chicago team, respected and recognized in all quarters of Chicago and beyond. Lester will celebrate his 90th birthday in just a few weeks, and I cannot think of a better birthday present than this. You see, Lester has overcome. On behalf of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois, please help me welcome and celebrate our native son to receive the Order of Lincoln, Lester H. McKeever, Jr.
Good evening. Thank you, Graham. First, let me extend my sincere congratulations to the Lincoln Academy and its leadership for their continued outstanding performance in serving the state of Illinois. Governor Pritzker, Vice Chancellor Todd, Ron, Executive Director Leanne Barnhart, the Regents, trustees, and rectors, ladies and gentlemen, Thank you very much for being here. I am touched by receiving the Order of Lincoln, and I want to extend my deepest appreciation to all who played a role in selecting me for this high honor. I'm deeply grateful to you, and I am humbled by your kindness. If there are people honored, then there are people surrounding them who generously provide the influence and inspiration that help make them who they are. So to all of those who have extended a helping hand and a warm heart, I sincerely accept this recognition in your honor. If I may, I would like to recognize and acknowledge my loving wife of 65 years, Nancy. I would also like to recognize my family and express my love to my wonderful son, Stephen, his wife, Candace, U.S. Ambassador to Trinidad and Tobago. 2 of my grandchildren are here tonight, Chad and Maddox. 3 are not, Lester, Brent, and Alana. My brother, Marvin, and his wife, Dolores, and my wonderful daughter, Susan, is unable to be here tonight. The Lincoln Heritage Museum describes Abraham Lincoln as an exemplar and model of virtue, perhaps more than any person in world history other than religious figures. Lincoln was not born with these character virtues. He honed and practiced and developed them daily, and so should we. The challenge before us today is that so many of our people in our country do not practice the virtues that was held so highly by Abraham Lincoln, particularly honesty, civility, and empathy. It is difficult to say for sure how Abraham Lincoln would act in today's polarized political environment, but based upon his principles and values, it is likely that he would prioritize finding common ground. The first time that my wife and I attended a convocation was in 1997, when Ramsey Lewis was awarded the Order of Lincoln in the Performing Arts. What an important and inspirational evening that was, and what lasting memories. Since then, we have come to many of these conversations, and the impression that is made initially still stays with us tonight. I am so honored to be standing here that I'd like to just say, God is good. Congratulations to all of my fellow inductees tonight. We are all so very proud to have our names added to the Order of Lincoln. I will close with the words of Dr. Martin Luther King, everyone can be great because everyone can serve. Thank you very much.
Good evening, everyone. First of all, felicidades a la familia Raimundo. Es un gran honor que Raúl le van a dar hoy. I was going to do the whole speech in Spanish, but I figured I'd lose half the room. Raúl I. Raimundo, with the vision to create a social impact organization in his home neighborhood of Pilsen, Raúl Raimundo returned after college and co-founded a community development organization which grew his idea into an innovative portfolio of community investments and grassroots services that are building healthier and more engaged communities throughout Chicagoland. Truly embodying an entrepreneurial approach to community prosperity and stability, he partnered with local parishes and today sees nearly 250,000 people benefiting from his foresight and ingenuity. Among the many positive outcomes are an additional 800 affordable homes that he helped build for families, as well as community centers and senior centers and a charter school. Responding to the impacts of the global banking crisis of 2007-2009, Raul's tenacity and concern for community mortgage holders resulted in the creation of the largest community development credit union in Illinois. And his quick action helped avoid massive foreclosures. Now, could you imagine that? He is responsible for thousands of people staying in their homes. The recipient of numerous awards, including the Distinguished Fellow Award from Leadership Grid of Chicago, and a mentor to many, many leaders across the city of Chicago and the state of Illinois. He continues to challenge his energies into transformative solutions for change, strengthening opportunities for working-class immigrant families. In the city of Chicago, we regularly have the debate about who is the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Is it Michael Jordan, or is it the other guy? In the city of Chicago, we know who it is, and everybody else is trying to measure up to him. In the community development field, and certainly in Pilsen, the GOAT is clear, it's Raul Raimundo. To receive the Order of Lincoln, Raul I. Raimundo.
Gracias y buenas noches. Thank you, Rick, for your leadership and being a co-conspirator with me in serving others. Thank you to the Lincoln Academy, the Board of Regents, Governor Pritzker, and to my fellow Lincoln laureates. The more I hear about them, the more I am in awe in being in this great group. I am honored and humbled to stand out before you, all of you here today. You know, when I started the Resurrection Project, back in 1990, 2 years out of college, I like to tell this story that I was 6 feet tall, 40 pounds younger, and no white hair. Everything but the 6 feet tall is true. And I'm glad I'm coming before Mr. Tomey, who's 6'4". In 1972, my parents brought me and my 5 siblings directly to the Pilsen community to Chicago to begin our American dream. For me, the American dream is living this country better than how we arrived, giving back to a country that has given us so much. The story of my immigrant is like many other stories of making this country better. Pilsen, where we arrived, as a matter of fact, where I grew up and still live for over 50 years, has always been an immigrant working class community. It was founded by Eastern Europeans, Slovenians, Czechoslovakians, Lithuanians, Croatians. Within a mile east-west, mile north-south, there were 15 different faith institutions, Catholic institutions founded by working class immigrants. As communities evolved in the late 60s, early 70s, it became a Mexican-American community. This is where I grew up. My mother modeled for me service and organizing from a very young age. She was not only the caretaker of our home, she was working, but she's always also an activist. In fact, she was part of many efforts that led to building the high school that I graduated from, Benito Juarez High School. In 1988, when I came back from college, I moved back to Pilsen. And I remember going back to my parish that welcomed us, St. Pius V in Pilsen. And in that late fall of 1988, Father Charles Dahm was preaching from the pulpit about a young man who had been shot across the street from the church. And he was asking, what are we going to do about it? Are we just going to pray and pray that the problem goes away, or are we going to do something about it? That kind of like, whoa, he's right. Because I had had friends who never made it through their 18th birthday at Benito Juarez High School. That really moved my spirit, and he challenged me to act on my faith and values. 2 years later, I was involved with him and many other priests in the neighborhood to help build the Resurrection Project. Our challenge from the beginning was not to move to a healthier community, but to build one. and to build it with the tangible assets and the non-tangible assets that exist in the community. Yes, there are always problems. Yes, there are always needs. Yes, there are always issues. But also, I would challenge everybody to understand that in any community, there are tangible assets and non-tangible assets. In our community, the tangible assets were the churches, the geographic location of the community, access to transportation. But equally important were the non-tangible assets, the culture, the values, the spirit of the community, the people wanting to do something for themselves. And yes, from the get-go, as we build on our strengths, we were also looking to build beyond our community. In every crisis, we have been challenged by different things, whether that be COVID, financial, or most recently, the humanitarian immigration crisis. We have created opportunities to lead differently with passion, character, and commitment necessary to build change. Today, as a matter of fact, we are partnering with the White House, with the state of Illinois, the city of Chicago, and we are leading partner in creating work permits for recent arrivals. In fact, over the last 5 months, we have registered over 6,000 families to apply for work permits. And also, as a co-founder of the American Business Immigrant Coalition, we are leading the advocacy to also provide work permits for long-term immigrants who have been here for many years, contributing to the social fabric, to the economy of this country, and paying billions of dollars in taxes. I want to thank Governor Pritzker for his leadership in making Illinois a welcoming state for all, and also in supporting our campaign, We're Here to Work for Everyone. You know, that credit union that Rick mentioned, let me give you an example of what we're talking about. We did just not help thousands of families stay in their homes, but years later, we have provided thousands of more opportunities, mortgages to many immigrants to be able to build wealth by buying a home with less than 0.5% delinquency rates. What does that mean? Many of these families are paying property taxes, sales taxes, income taxes, strengthening neighborhoods, strengthening the economy of this state. Allow me to, for a moment, to thank many people who, in the audience, who I believe were instrumental in my life as a servant leader and deserve a piece of this award. Starting with my parents, Jose Maria Guadalupe, who are right here in the front. They are my role models. My wife, Maria Luisa, I can't thank you enough. You have been the rock of the family. You have been putting up with many late evenings, many weekend evenings of my work. And over 25 years, you've been the mother of our children, our son, Raul Jr., our twin daughters, Maya and Bella. In the audience also, I have my spiritual guidance, Father Charles Don, Father Don Evans, who are also co-founders of the Resurrection Project. Thank you also to our past and present board members, our staff, to my colleagues, partners, donors, allies, friends, and for all those years who have challenged me and aided me throughout my career. In 2025, the Resurrection Project will mark its 35th anniversary. I invite you all to join us as we continue to uphold our legacy of service and excellence. There's still more to be done. I may have more white hair, I may be 40 pounds older, but as a servant leader, I will never stop serving others. Juntos adelante, together forward. Gracias.
Jim Thome from Peoria, Illinois. 5-time Major League Baseball All-Star, recipient of the Silver Slugger Award, 2 World Series players. These are the achievements of a lifetime. Yet for Jim Thome, the first ballot Hall of Famer, they are just one aspect of this sports hero's accomplishments. Professional athletes often make an impact on the communities where they live and work. But Jim Thome takes it to a whole new level. He is an active philanthropist and receives accolades for his deep commitment to others, a commitment that equals his landmark baseball achievements. As a teammate on the field, and a dedicated community partner outside the stadium, Jim has been recognized with awards that reflect the baseball legends that he now stands alongside. The awards include the Marvin Miller Man of the Year Award, the Lou Gehrig Memorial Award, the first ever Brooks Robinson Community of Service Award, and the Roberto Clemente Award. A giant of his sport, Jim is described, and I quote, a rare athlete beloved everywhere. He is also a man blending the constants in his life, baseball, family, and community. To receive the Order of Lincoln, James H. Tomey.
Thank you, guys. Thank you to the Lincoln Academy for this wonderful honor. And thank you too, Governor Pritzker. And congratulations to my fellow honorees. What a special group. It's great to be here today. What a wonderful surprise to receive an award that isn't solely based on something I've done on the field. I'm proud to be a native son of what I think is the greatest state in the nation. When people who aren't from here think of Illinois, they might think of our great universities, our rich farmland, and of course, Chicago and all its world-class city has to offer. But as someone who was born here, my roots run deep. And as I reflected on why I'm so honored to receive this award, the memories flooded back like a home movie of the drives up I-55 from my home on South Crest Drive in Peoria, when my dad and I would come up for the afternoon to catch a Cubs game. And I would stare out at the boats on Lakeshore Drive and marvel at such a place that was only a short drive from our humble home. And then years later, a different drive, as a nervous 18-year-old, sitting in the back of my parents' car as they drove me south through Springfield and Carbondale and then into Florida as I would begin my professional career with the Cleveland Indians. I didn't say a word, just sat there dreaming about my future, but already a little bit homesick. Throughout my baseball career, one thing remained constant at the end of each season was my annual drive home through Peoria and out west to a place that always brought me peace, my lodge. It's a sacred getaway to our family, and I still enjoy to this day when we need to recharge our batteries. I can jump in my truck and head south, doing that drive Dad and I used to do in reverse, stopping in small towns like Kickapoo or Lakin or Gridley for a cup of coffee and a fresh bag of beans. I have more mugs from those little towns than any man should. Just ask my wife. I was fortunate enough when I retired to have another reason to stay here. When my friend, mentor, and boss, Mr. Jerry Reinsdorf, extended the opportunity to come work for him. Thank you, Jerry. Thanks to all my colleagues at the White Sox for supporting me and letting me kick around the office for the past decade or so. I've learned so much, and I'm very grateful. I want to thank my beautiful wife, Andrea, for falling in love with and being willing to relocate to Illinois when Mom was sick, so we could be closer to our family during that challenging time, and for bringing her wonderful parents, my in-laws, with her. We've raised our two children here, our daughter Lila, and our son Landon. And God willing, one day, our grandchildren will take them to the Shedd Aquarium and maybe the Lincoln Park Zoo, just like we took the two of you. I love you both so much. I've read that Abe Lincoln played a little baseball in his time, and maybe like me, he was a little tall. I'm not sure how much else we have in common, but I can tell you this. I admire what he stood for, his commitment to working hard for freedom and justice for all, and I'm so very honored to receive this great honor in his name today. It's one I'll cherish forever. Thank you.
If all the laureates could come, we're going to do a group photo right over here. Should we take each end, you and I? Step forward. Wow, is all I have to say. I now have the privilege and the honor to introduce a man who needs no introduction, our governor, the Honorable J.B. Pritzker.
Well, I really am honored to be standing before you because I have to say I have taken the opportunity here in my second term to travel the country and sometimes the world to promote the state of Illinois. We have so many great things that people need to know about our state, but now I feel like I have 6 people that I can take with me on those trips to show off just how amazing this state really is. Well, good evening to everyone, and thank you to Vice Chancellor Todd Shapiro. I did not know you are related to the former Lieutenant Governor and Governor, by the way, of the state of Illinois for a year, and I'm reminded that his uncle was the second Jewish governor of the state of Illinois. I am the third Jewish governor of the state of Illinois, and I bet you don't know which state has had the most Jewish governors of any state in the United States: Illinois. But we have Sam Shapiro to thank for that, just to be clear. The Order of Lincoln recognizes Illinoisans who embody our 16th president's values of service, achievement, and community. After all, it was Abraham Lincoln who, in his famous Cooper Union speech in 1860, said, "Let us have faith that right makes might. And in that faith, let us, to the end, dare to do our duty as we understand it." These 6 inductees are people who dared to do their duty, and our state and our country are so much better for it. As an Illinois resident for more than a century, Evelyn Brandt Thomas found her love for agriculture on her family's farm near Pleasant Plains. She used what she learned growing up there to build an agriculture business into a global powerhouse, providing fertilizers to farms across the globe. But Evelyn's company is an economic driver, of course, in central Illinois and for our state, but her influence, and this is what I want to highlight about each of our honorees, her influence goes far beyond that. From scholarships to food banks, to 4-H, to Future Farmers of America. She's been a philanthropist of the first order, dedicated to giving back to her community as she succeeded. And at 100 years old, she's not letting up. In fact, she's bought all of you vodka tonics afterward. Lou Collins stepped in to transform and revitalize the Illinois Institute of Technology, and that really can't be highlighted enough. It was an institution in great peril when he took over. And of course, the Chicago-Kent College of Law, which he ran before he ran the entire university. These are two landmark Illinois institutions that produce some of our state's finest graduates. Undaunted by the financial challenges that he inherited, I'm not saying it wasn't hard, but he had the courage to take them on. And when he took on that role as president of what's now called Illinois Tech, he stabilized and rebuilt it while maintaining a focus on accepting and ensuring that those who could least afford a higher education would be among his highest priorities. He has been a mentor, a teacher, and a friend to countless students who he helped achieve their dreams. And I will say, as a side note, he's been a friend and mentor of mine. Rita Garman served Illinois as a judge for, as you heard, for nearly half a century, including a couple of decades as a justice and leader of our state Supreme Court. She's a trailblazer in the legal profession and as an inspiration to women and girls across our state who wish to pursue a career in the law and who are breaking through glass ceilings every day. She has been a profound example of perseverance and determination, dedicating a lifetime to the call of public service. Alison Krauss, well, Beyonce's got nothing on you. 27 Grammy Awards. Think about that. And all the other awards that you heard about. It really is quite impressive. But the beginnings were in a fiddle competition at the Champaign County Fair. Her storied career as a singer, I want to say a bluegrass country singer, but every genre, and a fiddler, spans collaborations and decades, and has left an indelible mark on not just the music industry, but on fans across the globe. Lester McKeever became just the 60th ever black certified public accountant in the United States in 1960. At a time when the world seemed to put up every barrier between him and success. But he was undaunted, too. He defied the odds. For decades, Lester has broken new ground in the accounting and financial management sector and the public sphere, building a highly successful business career, but also serving as the chairman of the board of the Federal Reserve Bank of Chicago and giving back to his community, to our communities, on the boards of higher education institutions and the Chicago Urban League. He's set an example for countless young people who he has personally lifted up and nurtured. Raul Raimundo reminded me in his remarks this evening that all of us are imported immigrants, sometimes not by choice, to this country, all of us. And he mentioned the Ukrainian community. My family arrived here escaping Russian oppression. People were being killed in my family's community in Ukraine. And my family arrived with absolutely nothing. Didn't speak English, didn't have a penny, lived in the sub-basement of the Chicago train station. And it was people like Raul Raimundo in that day who allowed my great-grandfather to, during his lifetime, go from having nothing and not speaking English to becoming an attorney and having 3 children who all became attorneys. I'm sorry. And my grandfather, who had 3 children, 2 of the 3 became attorneys. You can see there's a disease in my family. My father was an attorney, and he had 3 children, and 2 of the 3 of us became attorneys. Again, my apologies. Good news, we don't practice law. But it was people like Raul Raimundo in those days who made that possible. And so think of what will happen through the decades from now for the families that are arriving here today. Jim Thome hit homers for 22 seasons in Major League Baseball and a 5-time All-Star, Hall of Famer, a power hitter. But if you ask people that know him, ask coaches and teammates and friends and family, what they think is that his greatness is more about the man behind the glove. One of Illinois' all-time great professional baseball players, no matter what team he played for, Jim always returned to his hometown of Peoria to visit his high school virtually every season, never forgetting his roots and constantly giving back to the community. He has been an extraordinary philanthropist, not just with resources, but with his time, and he's always been thought of as gregarious, humble, and kind. That, I think, is what we should remember about Lincoln laureates, that they're special, each one of them. They're special for their personal contributions to our state, to representing what is best about the people of Illinois. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be governor of a state that is producing this kind of talent, these amazing people. The Order of Lincoln celebrates each of these extraordinary individuals for their accomplishments and for their character. Our state is a better place because of each of you, and you make us all proud to call ourselves Illinoisans. And as president of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois, and on behalf of the 13 million people of our great state, I congratulate you, and I thank you for setting such an excellent example for all of us. And with that, I'll turn it back to Vice Chancellor Shapiro. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor, for those wonderful remarks. I would like to again welcome Elora Manatas and Dr. Hung, who are going to present our state song, Illinois.
By thy rivers gently flowing, Illinois, Illinois, o'er thy prairies verdant growing, Illinois, Illinois, comes an echo on the breeze, rustling through the leafy trees, and its mellow tones are these, Illinois, Illinois, and its mellow tones are these, Illinois. What without thy wondrous story, Illinois, Illinois, can be writ the nation's glory, Illinois, Illinois, on the record of the years, Abraham Lincoln's name appears, Grant and Logan and our tears, Illinois, Illinois, Grant and Logan and our tears, Illinois.
Elora and Dr. Hung, that was beautiful. I would again like to recognize the amazing contributions and accomplishments from all of the laureates from such a varied and diverse background. You certainly exemplify the mission of the Lincoln Academy of Illinois. One more round of applause for all of our laureates. So we were supposed to be done at 7. So I'm not going to do Jimmy Kimmel and waste the next 7 minutes. We're getting into some other areas. I do want to welcome everybody. We are going to be adjourning to the Guild Gallery outside the theater here for reception. That will go until 8 o'clock when we will be going up to the Morris Genius Chicago room on the 2nd floor for dinner. So we will be leaving. Please, the platform party is going to recess. I ask everyone to remain seated until the platform party recesses. If I see anyone, stand up before we're out of here. With that, thank you very much for participating tonight.